Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how we do the middle section here on a Stanley tumbler. So right here I've got SS20 glass rhinestones that I'm using, and I have started here to lay down a line of SS16 glass rhinestones. Now if you're using resin rhinestones, then the size would equate, it would be a 5 millimeter here, a 4 millimeter here. There will be a tiny space in between each of these SS16 rhinestones, but that is okay because that's going to give us the space in the room that we need to come down where it gets more narrow here without having to add a bunch of filler stones. And as we know, the filler stones, sometimes if they are not from the same dye batch, they can really have a bit of a color difference. Like for instance, with neon colors is a huge one, man. They are notorious for, and this is how I ensure that I get a very uniform look and spacing with my rhinestones. Okay, so now that we finished this first line of SS16, we're going to go on with another line of SS16. Also, you want to be careful that you're not using too much glue whenever placing your rhinestones. The ideal amount is just enough to spread around the bottom of it when you push it down or squish it down onto the cup. But also, you don't want it squishing out of the sides of your rhinestones, okay? You definitely don't want it squishing out the sides on top of other rhinestones, because as you know, if this glue completely covers a rhinestone, it really loses its lackluster, it really loses its shine, its sparkle, its dimension, and it looks more like a glitter flake instead of a rhinestone. You see we've rhinestoned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of SS16, and now we're going to do 1 row of SS12. In this space here, you could also use an SS10, which would be considered a 2 millimeter in the resin stones. And another thing to remember, not all stones are created equally. Some stones may say that they are a SS10 or SS12, but depending on where you're getting them from, they absolutely could be sized differently by the slightest amount, which can have an extremely big effect on how it finishes and where your lines end up. But here we're going to go back in with our SS20 glass rhinestones or a 5 millimeter resin stone. And during this rhinestone session, I was actually watching Love on the Spectrum, which if you have not watched that yet, you need to. It is the most cutest, wholesome, funny show that I've watched in a really long time. Okay, back to your regular scheduled program. We're continuing on with our glass SS20 rhinestones or a 5 millimeter resin stone, whatever floats your boat. Now you're going to continue on until you get to the bottom of the tumbler. And make sure that if you have a watermark that you want to add, you add it in where you're going to add it when you need to add it. For example, I like to add mine to the back bottom of the Stanley, but I've seen people add them underneath the handle. I've seen them add them in the front middle, completely up to you. And here is the final product. Please, 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 if you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure that you are following, and sharing for more. And as always, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Bye, guys.